Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon to vote for the character you'd like to see next, and like and subscribe to turn your hair white without bleach or hair dye next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Danny Fenton, also known as Danny Phantom. Danny might have a bunch of cool ghostly abilities, but you know what he doesn't have? Enough creativity to come up with a superhero name that isn't just his real first and last name. Seriously, the only way he could make his identity less of a secret would be if he insisted everyone call him by his full social security number. Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we've got to be able to go ghost wherever and whenever we need to. Next, we need all of Danny's ghostly powers, not just being able to walk through walls, disappear, and fly, but also some spectral constructs, cryokinesis, and a deadly scream. Finally, we need to stop all the ghosts that are coming through to our world and send them back to wherever they came from. Or just put them in a thermos, whatever works for you.
Wow, ghosts sure are scary, but so is losing your data privacy on the internet. That's where today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN, comes in. Surfshark VPN is a virtual private network that protects your data from hackers, identity thieves, and even corporations. It also protects you from annoying advertisements with the Clean Web feature that blocks out ads and other things you don't want to see, so you're just seeing what you want to see on the internet. This guy. My biggest fear? Region-blocked content. What if I want to watch my favorite show, but it's not available in my area? Well, Surfshark has servers in countries all over the world, so you can disguise your IP address and watch things from wherever you want. Surfshark is offering Tulok subscribers a great deal, 83% off and 3 free months when you use offer code TULOK at checkout. So, click the link in the description and improve your browsing experience today. Now, back to the video.
For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just make sure you keep your multi-classing minimums in mind. Charisma will be number 1. You're a likable guy, even if Paulina doesn't notice you and your ghoulish powers come from within. Next is strength. He might look a little scrawny, but Danny can tussle with the best of them, as long as the best of them don't have a strength score above 14. Constitution after that, you need to be able to take a beating, and dexterity will help you avoid punches in the first place, so do that next. Wisdom isn't great, but intelligence will be our dump stat. Danny isn't much of a point dexter. That's a different character. Danny starts off as a normal kid living in Amity Park, but based on the theme song, I'm gonna go with custom lineage. That'll give you +2 to any stat. I'd say charisma for better ghost powers. Take the shadow touch feat to raise that charisma up by 1 more point. You get the invisibility spell, which you can use for free once per day, and after that you can cast it again with a spell slot. That lets you stay invisible for an hour or until you attack or cast a spell. Not quite the full Danny Phantom experience yet, but we haven't even hit level 1 yet. Give me a break. Shadow touch also gives you a free illusion or necromancy spell of your choice. Take false life to give yourself 1d4 plus 4 temporary hit points at a moment's notice. Pick up a better way to get temporary HP pretty soon, but none of the other first level spells available really work for Danny. The extra HP will help you stay alive. Or stay dead, both. For a skill of your choice, take sleight of hand to make up for the middling dexterity score, and make your own background for proficiency in stealth and acrobatics. You need to sneak around when invisibility isn't an option, and do a cool flip on Valerie's hoverboard. Call it the parents built a very strange machine background. We'll kick things off as a sorcerer, giving us proficiency with 2 skills from the sorcerer list. Take deception and persuasion to hopefully keep your family from putting you in the thermos. You also get a sorceress origin. We'll go for shadow magic. That gives you eyes of the dark, letting you have dark vision out to 120 feet. Now you know the reason for your glowing green eyes. Once we hit 3rd level, you can use 2 sorcery points to cast darkness. I'm just mentioning it here because I forget a lot. That'll create a 15-foot radius sphere of lightlessness. If you use your sorcery points, you can also see through that magical darkness, no problem. But remember that none of your party members are going to be able to see through it either. Last time I checked, Sam and Tucker have not made a pact with an unknowable elder god, but I haven't checked in a while. Being half dead also gives you strength of the grave. So when you hit 0 HP for the first time in a long rest, you can make a charisma saving throw of 5 plus the damage taken, and on a success, you stay standing at 1 hit point. You gotta stay on your feet, unless you're flying, then it's even more important, so you don't take a death save when you fall. For your spells, Chill Touch lets you make a ranged spell attack that does 1d8 necrotic damage and prevents enemies from healing. If you want a spell that sounds like it should do cold damage, but actually delivers, Frostbite will force a Constitution saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they take a d6 of cold damage, and they have disadvantage on their next weapon attack for some low-level cryokinesis. Sword Burst creates a spectral weapon in a 5-foot radius of you, forcing a dexterity saving throw on creatures inside and dealing a d6 of force damage if they fail. Usually when Danny makes spectral constructs, it's something cartoony like a fly swatter, but fly swatter burst isn't as cool of a spell name. For our last cantrip, Light. Use it for your friends who can't see in the dark. For first level spells, take Magic Missile to send 3 Ectoblasts forward, dealing 1d4 plus 1 force damage each. This spell can't miss unless the target has the shield spell. Speaking of which, take the shield spell to protect yourself with a reaction, raising your AC by 5. You're not the only ghost in town who likes shooting ghost rays, so it's best to come prepared. We're gonna multi-class right away, right over to Warlock. Specifically an undead Warlock, so you can take the form of Dread as our first method of going ghost and transforming into a spooky superhero. This will give you temporary HP equal to 1d10 plus your Warlock level. Once per turn, you can force a creature you hit to make a Wisdom saving throw to avoid being frightened, and you become immune to being frightened. Danny doesn't really try to scare his enemies all that often, but that's because he's usually fighting other ghosts. In 5e, they're immune to the frightened condition. You also get Pact Magic, which is a little bit different than normal spell casting, but don't worry about it. Basically, you just get the extra spells from Warlock that you would have gotten normally, and can cast spells from either list with either spell slot. For your cantrips, Mage Hand will give you a little telekinesis, lifting objects that weigh 10 pounds or less with a floating spectral hand. Eldritch Blast is another Ectoblast. That's a ranged spell attack that deals 1d10 force damage each. For your first level spell, Cause Fear forces a Wisdom saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they're frightened of you. Again, Danny doesn't really try to scare the ghosts, but he can scare Mr. Lancer if he needs some cartoon comeuppance. Protection from Evil and Good will protect a creature from aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead, giving those creatures disadvantage on attacks against the creature, and they can't charm, possess, or frighten the creature. That'll stop the ghosts from possessing your pals. Second level Warlocks get 2 invocations. We're going to boost our AC with Armor of Shadows, giving you free castings of Mage Armor, so your AC will be 13 plus your Dexterity modifier when you're not wearing armor, and it can look like your cool suit. Agonizing Blast will let you add your Charisma modifier to the damage of your Eldritch Blast attacks, making those Ectoblasts a little cooler. Call that Ecto Cooler. For this level spell, we're going to grab Expeditious Retreat. That'll let you dash as a bonus action, so if you underestimate the box ghost, you can still make an escape. Back over to Sorcerer, you get a Font of Magic, giving you a number of sorcery points equal to your Sorcerer level that you can spend to recover spell slots at this point. Cooler stuff next level. For this level spell, grab Absorb Elements in case Vortex tries to zap you with some lightning, letting you resist acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage as a reaction, then turn that around next turn to deal an extra d6 of that type of damage. Vortex is probably immune to lightning damage, but the resistance is the real perk. Third level sorcerers get meta magic options. This is how you augment your spells to get a little bit cooler. Quicken Spell lets you use 2 sorcery points to cast a spell that normally takes an action as a bonus action. That's really good with Eldritch Blast, especially later. It's gonna deal bonkers amounts of damage. Twin Spell lets you target 2 creatures with a spell that normally would only target 1 creature. That's double the ecto fun. You can also learn second level spells here. Mirror Image creates 3 illusory duplicates that can take hits for you. When someone tries to attack you, roll a d20. On a 6 or higher, they hit one of 3 duplicates. On an 8 or higher, they hit one of 2 duplicates. And on an 11 or higher, they hit the last remaining duplicate. It's hard to hit ghosts, folks. 4th level sorcerers get an ability score improvement, cap off your charisma for the ultimate ghost power experience, and make sure you can be much more unique than the other guys. For this level spell, Enhance Ability gives you advantage on ability checks of a certain type. If you choose Strength, you get doubled carrying capacity. Dexterity, you won't take falling damage from heights of 20 feet or less. And for Constitution, you get 2d6 temporary HP. Keep in mind that won't stack if you use False Life, but any of the other things could help you be a better ghost. 5th level sorcerers can learn 3rd level spells like Fly, giving you a flying speed of 60 feet for up to 10 minutes. You know, all the girlies say you're pretty fly for a ghost guy. 6th level shadow sorcerers get Hound of Ill Omen, which lets you summon a spectral canine with a bonus action. It's a modified direwolf stat block. The creature's medium. It gets temporary HP equal to half your sorcerer level and can move through objects and creatures like they're difficult terrain. It always knows where its target is hiding, rolls its own initiative, and will only attack whoever you sick it on. It's not totally one of Danny's powers, but in season 1, Danny befriends a ghost dog named Cujo. He even comes back for a few episodes, so you know, it's Cujo. Also, I can do whatever I want. I want Cujo. You can also do whatever you want, but only if you grab Haste, because it's my favorite spell. It'll raise your AC by 2, give you advantage on dexterity saving throws, an extra action to dash, disengage, make one weapon attack, hide, or use an object. You have to take a turn off of actions and reactions when the spell ends, but that makes sense. Going ghost is a lot of work. I'd rather watch the hit 1990 film Ghost starring Patrick Swayze. That's just where my priorities are. 7th level sorcerers can pick up 4th level spells, and we can finally get Banishment for the Fenton Thermos. It'll force a charisma saving throw to send creatures native to this plane to a harmless demi-plane, or if you use it on a ghost, it'll send them to the ghost zone. Then they'll have to hang out with Klemper and Poindexter if you can hold concentration on it for the full 10 minutes. If you don't, they come back. 8th level sorcerers get another ability score improvement or a feat. This time we'll grab the Fighter Initiate feat and the Unarmed Fighting style. That'll let you punch to deal 1d6 plus your strength modifier with an unarmed attack, or 1d8 if you have 2 free hands, and you'll deal a d4 of damage to a creature you have grappled once per turn. It's not going to be as good as shooting Ectoblast, but hey, Danny punches sometimes. We're going to dip back to the 3rd level for Counterspell for this level spell. That'll let you shut down spells of 3rd level or lower automatically, and higher level spells with a charisma check of 10 plus the spell's level. In the Martian Manhunter video, I said Counterspell was the best way to handle John's body morphing ability. Danny can kind of do the same thing, so we're doing the same thing here. Also, go watch the Martian Manhunter video. It's very good, and it'll help the algorithm. 9th level sorcerers can learn 5th level spells, so we can finally get greater invisibility. That lets you turn invisible without all of the restrictions of the 2nd level version. The only downside is that it only lasts for a minute, but that's not too bad. That's just enough time to microwave some minute rice, so that's pretty cool. It's also 10 whole rounds of combat that the enemies will have disadvantage perceiving you and attacking you, let alone targeting you with any spell that requires the caster to see the target. 10th level sorcerers get a new meta magic option. We'll pick Extended Spell to double the duration of our spells. That means longer flight, longer haste, longer minute rice. You can make 2-minute rice. We're also going to grab Dominate Person for a little possession. That'll force a wisdom saving throw on a creature. Failing that, you're in charge of them for at least a minute and longer if you upcast it. You could use this spell for nefarious purposes, but have you considered using it on someone to have them do some self-care? I wish someone would Dominate Person me and I could take a nap. 11th level sorcerers can learn 6th level spells. Cone of Cold forces a Constitution saving throw on creatures in a 60-foot cone, dealing 8d8 cold damage to those that fail. This covers the bigger icy blast and will help you deal with all the plant-based ghosts out there. I guess there's only one plant-based ghost, but that's still more than I expected. 12th level sorcerers get another ability score improvement or feat. We're going to raise our strength by 2, so if we decide to punch, it won't be as bad. 13th level sorcerers can learn 7th level spells. Tasha's otherworldly guise will make punching not bad. That'll give you an extra attack, and you can make your attacks with your charisma modifier instead of your strength modifier. You also get +2 to your AC and a 40-foot flying speed. It's just a whole suite of buffs. Oh, and you can get immunity to radiant and necrotic damage, as well as the charmed condition, or poison and fire damage and the poison condition. It's just so many goddamn things, and it will help you punch ghosts or transphobes like Butch Hartman. 14th level shadow sorcerers get Shadow Walk, letting you teleport as a bonus action to any unoccupied space within 120 feet of you that's in dim light or darkness. You can make darkness, so that would give you some short-range teleportation. 15th level sorcerers can complete the theme song power trio with the spell Etherealness. That puts you into the border ethereal plane where you can move in any direction and through anything that doesn't exist in the ethereal plane. It's walking through walls, baby. 16th level sorcerers get our last ability score improvement, raise your strength to 18. We can't cap it off, but that's okay because you can shoot ghost lasers out of your hands. You have to fight ghosts cosplaying as Terminator. Why would you try to punch that? 17th level sorcerers get one last meta magic option. I think I'm going to go with Heightened Spell. That'll let you spend 3 sorcery points to give any targets of a spell you're making roll with disadvantage on their saving throws. Now it's going to be even easier to send Johnny 13 or Kitty to the ghost zone. That'll also help with our 9th level spell, Psychic Scream, letting out a horrid shriek and causing any creature within 90 feet to make an intelligence saving throw. On a fail, they take 14d6 psychic damage and are stunned. On a success, half damage, and they won't be incapacitated. If a creature is dropped to 0 HP, their head explodes. The only stipulation is the creature has to have an intelligence score of 2 or higher. So sorry if you wanted to use this spell on a badger, but if your number one priority is detonating a badger skull, I'll be honest, I don't think I want to play D&D with you. Our capstone is the 18th level of sorcerer for our last subclass ability. With umbral form, you can spend 6 sorcery points for one last way to go ghost. Take up a shadowy form, gain resistance to all damage except for force and radiant. You can move through creatures and objects like they're difficult terrain, taking 5 force damage if you end your turn inside the object. That lasts for a minute, or until you're knocked out, or if you go from being half ghost to all ghost, or just turning it off with a bonus action. Now you're no longer limited by concentration for your intangibility, which means you can have fly, invisibility, or Tasha's up for the pinnacle ghostly form. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you're surprisingly tanky for what is mostly a sorcerer build, with things like False Life and Form of Dread to get temporary HP, and ways to avoid damage altogether with invisibility and mirror image. Next, you've got a lot of great utility spells, with Etherealness making obstacles nothing to worry about, and Banishment sending your enemies to the no-no place. Finally, you can do some huge damage. Quickened Spell and Agonizing Blast lets you fire off a total of 8 Eldritch Blasts in one turn, dealing an average of 84 damage, which is enough to finish off a ghost, for sure. For weaknesses, you have a lot of concentration spells, invisibility, fly, haste, the list goes on, and that doesn't even include focusing on your homework. You also only have a little bit over 100 HP without gaining temporary HP, so power word kill could be a bit of a problem. Finally, you dumped Intelligence, which on a caster means you're susceptible to Feeble Mind and losing everything you do, but that's 1/8 level spell. That's not gonna happen. Go Ghost and show those wayward souls that Amity Park isn't their place to haunt. Just make sure no creepy carnies get their hands on a knockoff Infinity Gauntlet. Otherwise, this cartoon might turn into a little bit of a freak show. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.